Welcome to Forensic Notes. Forensic Notes stores all your notes, images, and attachments in a time-stamped format to protect the integrity of your notes. By replicating the structure of a bound paper notebook used by law enforcement for decades, the admissibility of your evidence should never be questioned. To get started, a default forensic notebook is created in all new accounts. You can add new notebooks by clicking the New button here. By default, a forensic notebook that allows editing will be created. This panel will display all the notebooks created within your account. Clicking on a notebook in this section will result in the selected notebook being displayed in the Selected Notebook panel. This panel will display any notes that have been saved in the notebook. Since we just created a new notebook, no notes currently exist. To create a new note, simply click the New Note button here. A newly created note will now be displayed within the Editor panel. When you create a new note, the date and time associated with the note will be set to the current time. You can change the date and time manually by clicking into the form or use the calendar and clock controls. For our first note, we will keep the default values and enter a simple note by clicking and then typing into the editor. Now that you have written your first note, it is time to timestamp this note by clicking on the Timestamp button. This creates a permanent record of the note by obtaining a timestamp token from an independent timestamping authority used by banks and government agencies. This is similar to having this note notarized by a notary. As a result, you will now be able to prove this note was saved at this exact date and time. Once the note is timestamped, it is now known as a forensic note. You can tell if a note is timestamped when this icon is blue and the timestamp information is displayed here. Now that we know how to create a simple note, let's create a more complex note that contains attachments and inline images. Once again, click on the New Note button. You can add attachments by simply dragging and dropping your selected files from File Explorer or a screen capture tool. You can also click on the Attachment button to open up a File Explorer window. When you add attachments to a note, a hash of each file is generated and included in the final timestamped note. As a result, you will be able to prove the exact date and time when any attachments are saved. For those unfamiliar with the term hash, it is simply a unique value that can be used in court to prove the existence of a specific file. As you can see, all types of electronic files can be attached to your note. Now, let's add some text and an inline image to the note. As you can see, the image is automatically resized to fit the width of the editor. If you want to make the image smaller, you can double-click on the image. This will bring up the Image menu. You can either select one of the predefined image size options or resize manually. Now that we have a more complex note created, we are going to go ahead and timestamp this note. As you can see, the note now contains a new section called Embedded Images. When you include inline images in your notes, the original full-sized image is saved as an attachment so that it can be printed separately if required. You are now ready to begin using Forensic Notes. Please refer to our FAQ section for additional information and videos.